Hi, I'm Charlie from CookingSeekersForMen.com, and today we are continuing our series, Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders, and I'm very pleased to have as my guest today, David Crowley.
Thank you.
David is our county exec here in Milwaukee County, also listed on the top 100 power brokers list by the Milwaukee Business Journal. So David, you are a lifelong Milwaukeean, born and raised.
Born and raised.
Grew up in the 53206 zip code.
Yes.
One of the, if not the, certainly one of the most underserved areas in our community. Our mayor, Cavalier Johnson, also grew up in the same area. So your background and your story, fairly well documented here in Milwaukee, but talk a little bit about how you worked through and understood what was going on, and that helped, I guess, give you an insight as to what residents deal with on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be a part of this this video, and I just want to let folks know I am not a cooker. I grill, but I'm really excited about what we're going to be making today. But growing up in 53206 zip code, I had the opportunity to see a lot of different things, and I always talk about the tale of two cities in a sense. And you know, whether you're talking about individuals who have been living challenging lives, you know, just going through the motions, whether you talk about poverty, whether you talk about mental health, whether you talk about drugs, but also seeing what it looks like on the other side. When I think about some of my other family members, like my father was a master electrician. My mother, you know, she was a Jane of all trades, but they also had their own issues, suffering from mental illness, suffering from drug addiction themselves. And for me, it was really, you know, when I think about what led me here, the community saved my life. I think about organizations like Urban Underground, youth organizations like that really instilled into me the value of really giving back. And that's one of the reasons why I got into public service.
Right. So you went to Bayview High, and then on to University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, UWM, and then moved into community organizing and into local politics. So you worked for and with a variety of local politicos, gained a background in state government, in governmental affairs, public policy, community outreach. So talk a little bit about that journey from your community organizing through up and including the state legislature.
Oh, great question, because you know, community organizing, that's when you're working with the community, you're working with elected officials and really trying to tackle the issues that people are facing on a day-to-day basis. And you know, one thing that I realized as a community organizer is that you can't focus on bringing change in communities, bringing resources into communities, unless you can change policies and really work with your elected officials to target those resources. And so as I began to do all the organizing, I got an opportunity to work for then United States Senator Russ Feingold, and did a lot of organizing and went across the state and realized that this was something that I absolutely loved doing. And continue to do that, and then while you're doing all this organizing, you get to meet a lot of great people. And at that time, I had met the county board supervisor, Nakia Dodd. And out of the blue, we shared a mentor. And you know, that mentor convinced her to hire me. And so I had the opportunity to work as a legislative aide in the on the Milwaukee County board. And that gave me a lot of experience as it relates to what policy really looks like, how the sausage really gets made, right? You know, and she became a state senator a year and a half after working for her on the county board. So that brought me to the state legislature, where I worked as a policy director and a community outreach director for 4 years under her leadership. And then I got bit by that bug to run myself. Right. And so it is funny because you know, the first time I ran for office, I actually lost. I ran for city alderman, 7th district, right here in the city of Milwaukee, and I lost in that primary. And an opportunity opened up because my boss at the time decided that she was done with state politics. So I decided to run for the 17th Assembly District. Didn't know what that was going to look like, but made it. And even before I was sworn in, because of the connections that I made as a staffer, and not just getting policies through, but helping get others elected, I was also elected chair of our Milwaukee delegation and chair of our Wisconsin Black Caucus.
All right, so in 2020, you ran for county exec. You won.
Yes.
Not only becoming the youngest county exec ever elected within Milwaukee County, but the first African American
Yes.
elected to that post. So talk a little bit about the issues and the challenges you faced over the last 3 years. I know we were just talking about a couple of them as right
Oh,
before we
yeah.
started.
You know, so when I first decided to run for this seat, I mean, it was November 2019, the seat opened up, I decided to run, and I think everybody across the county understood that the biggest issues facing Milwaukee County was this fiscal cliff, the fiscal issues that it faces. But won the primary, and then a month after the primary, this thing called COVID happened. And when COVID happened, I would tell you, you know, we were the first state to have an election. We had to wait a week long for the results to be released, and that's all that we were focused on. And usually, when you win in office, you got some time before you actually get sworn in. But my predecessor, Chris Abley, he called me up and said, "Look, I am not making decisions between now and then since you're going to be here." And so, when you think about COVID, I mean, that was really the biggest challenge at that time.
Right.
Coming in. You know, trying to work with our staff, making sure that we can basically deliver for the people and making sure that we can provide as much of a safe space as possible because everybody was going through it. And I would say that was one of the biggest challenges when you think about how that affected our court system, how that affected the criminal justice system in general, but also when you think about how we support many of our seniors. Through meals or through recreational activities, as well as our young people. And so it caused some issues, but I would say that we were able to get through it. We were able to work with our partners internally and externally to make sure that we kept not just the people that we serve safe, but our employees safe at the same time. But the other challenge is really the fiscal issue. You know, and by the time 2027 comes, Milwaukee County will no longer have any local dollars to really make those investments in our own local communities. We need to be able to solve our local solutions. I mean, our local problems with local solutions, but that's going to require us to have local resources. And that's one of the reasons why, you know, many of us have been moving with the Move Forward MKE Coalition to really bring our case to the state legislature on why we need the tools to leverage our own economic activity.
And so according to the state constitution or state law, the local jurisdictions can't just de facto institute taxes. It has to run through legislature or through the referendum.
Absolutely. So, I mean, and we can't even do it through referendum unless the state actually gives us permission, right? And so, you know, we have levy limits, so we can't increase our revenues by more than 1%. Yet our costs are growing at about 2.5%. And so with this structural deficit, if we want to make sure that our public safety continuum is there, if we want to make sure that our parks continue to be the crown jewel of Milwaukee County, if we want to make sure that our Milwaukee County transit system is serving everyone, we are going to need these partnerships at the state level.
Sure. So Milwaukee County became the first jurisdiction in the nation to declare racism a public health crisis.
Yes.
And the county set a goal to become the healthiest county in Wisconsin. So talk a little bit about what is being done to address some of these systemic issues. I said systemic, right? Systemic issues and towards reaching our goal of being the healthiest county in the state.
Absolutely. I mean, the first thing that we did was we needed to create a strategic plan. So we created our first strategic plan in over 20 years to make sure that we are tackling both racial as well as health disparities that we see running rampant, particularly here throughout Milwaukee County. And so we focus on three pillars, really. One is intentional inclusion. You know, whether we talk about our employees, whether we're talking about boards or different councils that support Milwaukee County, we want to make sure that it's representative of our entire community. The other one is bridging the gap, making sure that, you know, no one falls through the cracks when they're actually going after services that they need. So we believe in a no wrong door concept. So no matter what door you're entering Milwaukee County, we want to make sure that we're wrapping around all those services around you to make sure that you don't have to go through multiple doors. And last but certainly not least is really putting our money where our mouth is, and that's investing in equity. We know that when it comes down to many of the issues and the disparities that we see today, a lot of this is due to many types of disinvestments. And so we want to make sure that we are making targeted investments in particular certain communities to make sure that as the tide rises, all the boats are rising. And so this is an all hands-on effort in making sure that we bring as many people to the table to really, one, recognize who we were as a community, what we are now, and where we can potentially go.
All right, so you may not know this, but you share the name of a Cincinnati politician that you knew very well. Name is David Crowley.
Okay.
David was a councilman in Cincinnati. He was vice mayor. My son Luke worked for him as an intern, and he owned a very successful bar in the Mount Adams area of Cincinnati, which is very similar to the Third Ward in that it has a lot of bars and no parking. The Cincinnati David Crowley has passed away several years ago. But my question to you is, do you have any plans to open up a bar here in Milwaukee named Crowley's?
I don't have any plans. I do love Irish whiskey, though, I will tell you that. But I don't have any plans to open up any bars or anything like that. Right now, my focus is being county executive and being a great husband and a great father to my 3 daughters.
Speaking of, why don't you tell us a little bit your family?
Yes, so my wife Erica, we've been married. We're actually celebrating our 7th year anniversary tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we have 3 beautiful daughters. I have my bonus daughter, my stepdaughter. She's 15 years old. That's Alyssa. And then we have our 2 youngest, Ava, who's 5, and Autumn, who's 3 years old. All of them are doing great in school. Alyssa attends Milwaukee High School of the Arts. Ava is going to German Immersion, great school right around the corner from my home. And I can't wait for Autumn to actually get into school because we all know that childcare is very important,
Sure.
but it's very expensive too.
So, you have a teenage daughter, huh?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So
far so good though.
Right. So we call this Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders, serious people with serious jobs having a little fun. So David mentioned at the beginning, he's not really a cook. You know, we'll see about that. But before we do get started, because you have a nice zoo T-shirt on, I've already spilled stuff on mine.
Okay.
I wanted to give you an apron to kind of cover up. So what we try to do,
Awesome.
what we do here is we have guests come in, they cook something, and then I get to eat it, and they get an apron. So, so David, tell us what we're cooking today.
So today we are cooking chicken parmesan, and this is a recipe that comes from one of our firefighters at the Milwaukee County Firehouse down at Milwaukee International Airport. And you know, a couple weeks ago I had the opportunity to do a tour, and chicken parmesan that he created and made was just amazing. So I've reached out to him and talked to him to give us the recipe to make it for you and everyone who's looking to enjoy a nice sandwich.
Great. All right, so we're gonna go over to the cooking area and get set up. We've done a little prep work ahead of time. So we're gonna make chicken parm sandwiches.
Yep.
And we've got some roasted broccoli.
Got some roasted broccoli. Oh, I forgot about the roasted broccoli.
Roasted broccoli. So it's both a sandwich and then healthy. So if you put the two together, it's a healthy sandwich. All right, so give us a minute to set up, and we'll be right back. All right, so we're over here getting set up. We're going to make chicken parm sandwiches, and so we're going to do a egg wash. So David, why don't you go ahead and get started?
I will.
So we got a couple of eggs that we're going to beat, and then we also have some butter here. That's for our for the bread for the sandwiches, and we've got some marinara sauce also going to go on. We've got some oil heating, as you can hear. That was a little drip from the sauce. All right, so Dave's going to beat the eggs, and then I'll go ahead and get the breadcrumbs ready. So we're going to use a little Italian breadcrumbs. And we're going to work right to left. We're going to make 6 sandwiches. We're not like the firehouse and cooking for a million. At the Italian breadcrumbs, we're going to add some panko, because panko will make it be a little crispier, which is what we would like. All right, panko in. All right, and you can't have chicken parm, excuse me there, David, without Parmesan. So usually put in a little Parmesan Reggiano, but we'll go with Kraft today.
And I will pour the flour into this other one.
He puts in, the fire's name is Tim Burgess?
Tim Burgess.
Tim Burgess. He says put in a big pinch of flour into the egg.
Ah.
Right, usually it's, I know what you're saying, yes, but I guess he's putting it in, that's a time saver for him. So let's grab a little, this will just, that should be enough. All right, so we got the breadcrumbs here, combination of Italian breadcrumbs, panko breadcrumbs, and Parmesan. So I think I'm going to be the egg guy. All right, so we have our chicken. We've butterflied it. And I'm going to do, oh, you can see that's great.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I'm going to put it over here. And David, if you would just toss it. These chicken breasts are thinner, so we cut them in half and butterfly them. Go ahead and be careful as you put that in.
Yep.
All right. So we've got our chicken breasts. More to go. All right, so we'll let these go about 6 or 8 minutes on the on one side, and then we'll go to the other side. And then we have an
Get your fork.
instant read thermometer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, perfect.
All right. All right, so those will go for about 6 minutes. So we're going to clean this area over here, and then we're going to get our bread in order. All right, so the chicken is going through one side, so we're going to get the bread ready. So to do the bread, Tim Burgess, who's the firefighter who developed this, we've melted some butter and garlic together, and David is going to put it on both sides of the bread on all these pieces. We're making 6 sandwiches. You just put it on there. And then we're going to put bacon on one side of the bread, and then mozzarella cheese is going to go on top of that. Bacon on. We'll make that side, dude.
Bacon side.
Yeah, the downside. There we go. Whew. Bacon smells good.
It does.
And I'm going to go ahead and turn the chickens. All right. A nice little color on them.
Looking good over there.
Use our instant read thermometer. We'll just do this here. It's about 140 something, so well, that's getting up there. Yeah, these are, yeah, we want to get a little bit more on. So David is doing my job.
It's a team effort.
He's a can-do kind of guy. We got some mozzarella cheese that's supposed to go on the bacon. I think we're gonna
Fold it up.
yeah. I think we have them. Everything smells great.
It does.
All right, so we've covered the mozzarella. So the next thing is we're gonna get the chicken. Test that. Make sure. We want to get to at least 155. We're good there. So what we'll do is we'll let the one cook a little bit longer. Dave, why don't you take just put one on each of the part or the provolone, except for
this one.
That right.
Over here on this side.
No, on the cheese. There you go.
There we go.
Wow. Hope everybody's hungry. All right, we'll let this piece catch up. So the next thing Phil says to do is make the provolone. That'll go on top of the chicken. So we just cover each of the the sandwiches. Let me grab this butter out of our way.
You want to use 2 pieces or 1?
I think 2 we can use. Again. Alrighty. Alright, so David has got the provolone. Do we have enough?
Yep. Perfect amount.
Alrighty. So we're going to take our sandwiches and we're going to put them into our oven. Down here. Alright, so we're going to melt this, take about 5 minutes, and we'll be back. Alright, David, I think we're good here. So why don't you go ahead and we'll give a look. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Nice
yeah.
Melted provolone over top. So we're going to put these off to the side where we were working before. And we're going to ladle some marinara sauce over. This is a secret recipe marinara sauce. It's Kroger brand. It's, as far as generic spaghetti sauces go, it is very tasty. It's got onion in it, so we're ladling a little bit. That's just my go-to. He didn't say a specific one.
No, he didn't.
So one of the things you don't want to do is put too much on because it'll make the bread disintegrate a little bit. So, all right, so we're gonna finish putting these sandwiches together, and then I don't know, Dave. What do you think? Should we try them?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right.
Absolutely.
So we'll finish up here, and then we'll come over to the Sunday eating table, as Granny used to say in the Beverly Hillbillies, and we'll be right back. All right, so here we are. So David, why don't you tell us what we got and how we got it?
So we have chicken parmesan with some marinara sauce and some roasted broccoli, and this is courtesy of our firefighter equipment manager, Tim Burgess. He has made this numerous times inside the firehouse right at, again, MKE International. And I just want to say thank you again, Tim, for this great recipe, and I can't wait to dig in.
Absolutely. And thank you for helping out today.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think you did most of the work. I think I held the camera and spilled some stuff. So, all right, let's give it a well,
I'm going to try this sandwich.
Luis likes the broccoli, so I have to try the broccoli first.
That's good.
Yeah, roasted vegetables on any level, I'm good with. All right, after a little sip of water, I have to try the sandwich. So, David, where are you off to today?
Well, today, it's pretty light for me. Actually, when I leave from here, I'm going to go hang out and with United States Senator Tammy Baldwin. Go to the park. But it's going to be a beautiful day. And so I'm looking forward to taking my girls to my mother's house so they can spend time with their grandmother and spend some time in peace and quiet out.
So we have a little extra marinara sauce to dip in if we need to, or
Absolutely.
might have to put a little teeny bit on mine. Well, David, this has been great. I really appreciate you taking the time to come down here. So good for one more bite.
Well, I appreciate this opportunity, and I got to tell you, now that my wife knows I can make chicken parmesan, she may make me cook now.
We'll see if we can. I'll send you. Oh, you have the recipe because you sent it to me.
Yeah.
Right. So, again, this is our continuing series, Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders. Serious people with serious jobs, having a little fun,
Oh, yeah.
eating good food. We do appreciate all the work that you put in. The leaders in our community, their work, although we know who you are, we know what your job is, the level of work that you put in to try to make our community a better place is just not talked about enough. So you and to everybody else who is trying to make our city a better place, really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and I want to say thank you because it is folks like you who help us make sure that we get the message out there and let the folks know what we're doing on their behalf. So I truly appreciate you, Charlie.
Well, thank you so much. So Mari, we got a sandwich for you.
Hello.
Oh, well, yeah, he's back there. So thank you all very much for watching. Appreciate your time. Please watch our videos, like, subscribe, comment. That's always appreciated. So thanks so much. Appreciate all your great support out there. And as always, thanks for watching.
Thank you.